presentation.
Merci. Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members, for the opportunity to appear before you today. My name is Warren Blatt, and in addition to being an independent financial advisor, I'm a board member for the Conference for Advanced Life Underwriting, otherwise known as CALU for short. CALU and our sister organization, Advocates, represents approximately 12,000 insurance and financial advisors who in turn provide financial advice to millions of Canadians across the country. We appreciate this opportunity to comment on the government's tax proposals involving private corporations on behalf of our members and their clients. Our written brief to the committee contains 14 recommendations. While announcements last week by the Finance Minister addressed our concerns relating to the conversion of income into capital gains, and we applaud the Minister for this change, our recommendations concerning income sprinkling and passive investments still stand. Moreover, we believe there is urgency to provide an exception to Section 84(1) of the Income Tax Act in order to make it less punitive from a tax perspective to pass on an incorporated business to family member. On this, we encourage the government to follow through on its stated commitment to further examine this issue in context of tax fairness. Due to time limitations, I will speak to two of our recommendations relating to income sprinkling, and then we'll briefly discuss the issue of intergenerational business transfers. We continue to be of the view that spouses and common law partners should be excluded from the proposed income sprinkling rules. We are concerned that the revised rules will not adequately deal with the issues raised in our brief, and that the scrutiny of dividends paid to spouses by the CRA will create a significant burden on business owners and the tax administration system as a whole. With respect to income sprinkling for family members aged 18 to 24, CALU submits that instead of using the tax on split income rules, that the government instead extend the existing attribution rules set out in Section 74(1) to 74(5) in the Income Tax Act in combination with an appropriate contribution test. This is because under the tax on split income rules, situations exist where split income would be taxed at a higher rate than if it had been earned directly by one person. That is, the adult child would have their dividend income subject to a tax at a higher rate, whereas it would be taxed at a lower rate if the parent had received this income directly. Thus, the proposed changes would not only remove the incentive to income split with family members, but would also create an even more significant disincentive for those owners who are in the lower tax bracket to not include young children, adult children, in the ownership of the business operations. This is particularly problematic for family-owned businesses and individuals wanting to formally include their children in the corporation in order to help facilitate the smooth transition of the business from one generation to the next. On this latter point, concerning intergenerational transfers of family businesses, we offer further comments contained in a separate brief on how an exception to 84(1) could be provided to better accommodate such transfers. Any changes, of course, would still need to achieve tax fairness by protecting against abuses of any such accommodation. It is important to remember in such discussions that it is no small issue for Canada due to our aging demographics. Close to 75% of current business owners plan to sell or exit their business in the next 10 years, and many will want to pass on their businesses to family members. Unfortunately, existing tax rules can penalize owners who want to sell their business to family members, since it is more expensive from a tax perspective to sell to a non-arm's length person than to a stranger. Accordingly, business owners are often faced with a difficult decision: to sell their business outside of the family in order to preserve more after-tax proceeds to fund their retirement, or to receive less money in order to pass on their business onto their children. We don't think this is fair. To address this, CALU proposes that Section 84(1) be amended to permit the transfer of incorporated small businesses to the next generation of family owners on a more tax-neutral basis. We believe this action will facilitate the successful transfer of family businesses and in turn protect local jobs generated by these companies. We have provided detailed comments to the Minister of Finance along with our recommendations on how the tax system can be protected from potential abuse. We hope this committee can provide further impetus to the government in developing tax rules that will accommodate genuine intergenerational business transfers on a tax-neutral basis. I thank you for your time and attention, and I'm pleased to respond to any questions that you may have on the subject matter. And CALU's tax expert advisor, Kevin Work, behind me, is also here to answer any technical questions the committee may have. Merci beaucoup.